क्या हुआ? So, very first session of this SRG training programs, which is about ICT initiative. So, we have planned this session just for background building, the context in which we all are working. We all have to work. So, to understand the digital education initiatives at national level is very important. So that is why we build the context, and we also align ourselves with the context that we are working with. Uh, yeah. So this is the educational scenario in India. So how? Sure. I will be having this session up till 11:30. Then we will break for a lunch, for a tea, and after that we will be rejoining the session. So this is an educational scenario in our country, which you can see that we have 1.4 plus billion population in this country, where two-thirds of the population is youth. So we have bypassed China also as far as the population is concerned. So 1.5 million schools that we have in our country, 9.8 million teachers, 260 million school children which we have, and 15,000 plus teacher education institutions. Then we have India is a diverse country that we know. There is linguistic diversity, there is socio-cultural diversity, there is geographical diversity, and that diversity is multi-faceted, multifarious. So we have to create content, we have to deliver education to this diverse group. That is also one of the Indian reality. Then bridging the digital gap is also one of the goal that we work with, because we have a digital divide. Although digital device exists across world, but the facet of digital divide in our country is very unique, because sometimes digital divide is also because of our geographical locations, because internet cannot reach to some of the geographically tough areas. So these kind of challenges we have. Then imparting equitable quality education and lifelong learning rooted in Indian culture is the goal that we are working with as per NEP 2020. Now we don't talk about uh, school education or college education, education which is institutionalized, but we also talk about lifelong learning, because until and unless we are lifelong learners, we won't be able to do justice with the changing Indian scenario, changing educational scenario, changing a learning scenario. Next slide, please. So this is the ICT use in India, the policy directions. So this is a timeline, historical or chronological order, which starts from 1972 with ET scheme. Then educational satellite was launched in 1983. Then class project was implemented in some sample schools, computer literacy and activities in school education, computer literacy in school education. Then in 1986, NEP, National Policy of Education, was given away to this country. The program of action was with in came in 1992. Then EduSet was the initiative in 2004. After that, ICT at School scheme was launched for school education, and NME ICT was for higher education. NME ICT is National Mission for Education ICT, and it was for higher education. Then ICT scheme was revised in 2010, and ICT award were introduced for the school teachers. In 2012, ICT policy was came into being, and in 2013, we started with two new initiatives, NROER and ICT curriculum. NROER was a National Repository for Open Educational Resources, and ICT curriculum was for enhancing the digital skills, ICT skills of teachers and students. And in 2015, we all know that Digital India campaign was launched by the government, and ePathshala and ePG Pathshala were the two projects that were launched for school education and higher education. ePG Pathshala was in the form of a mobile app and also in the form of a portal where all the digital textbooks and digital resources were brought on the palm top of students, not on the laptop but on the palm top, because this was the mobile app, and the every resource, every textbooks were on the palm top of the students. EPG Pathshala was started by UGC, and all the PG courses were converted into online courses, and they were placed on MOOC platform in 2017. It took 2 years to convert all the courses in a digital format, in online format, and simultaneously this MOOC platform was also developing. So in 2017, Swayam MOOCs were launched. Swayam Prabha DTH channels were launched for educational purpose, and Diksha was also launched in 2017. In 2018, Samagra Shiksha was envisaged by the government, by the stakeholders of education. Before that, we were looking at education in segments. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan was for elementary education. Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan was for Madhyamik education. So it was a thought of that education should not be looked into these segments, but it should be looked at as complete whole. That is why education was looked at in a samagra, holistic manner. And the new policy of education, NEP 2020, presents a new curricular and pedagogical structure wherein education from the pre-primary, from Anganwadis to class secondary, senior secondary, is taken care of. And it was just because education need to be looked at as a samagra whole. And like that, the structure is defined and presented in NEP 2020. Cyber safety and security guidelines were also launched in this year. And then in 2019, NISHTHA, National Initiative for School Heads and Teachers Holistic Advancement. This was the project for professional development of teachers on all the important areas of school education. Then guidelines for development of e-contents were also launched this year only. So they are there in the public domain. They can be obtained from the website of NCERT. If you are having this training in e-content development, so learning and understanding these e-content development guidelines are also very important. So I would request my team to share the link of these guidelines in the group that you people have created for the trainees, so that they get these two documents on their palm top with the mobile, and they can see this document to have a better understanding. Yeah. Then in 2020 and 2020 to 2024, we can see what initiatives were there in the educational scenario. So the very first and important document which was given away to the country after more than 30 years was NEP 2020, which was given away to this country in 2020. Then NETF was formulated, and this is as per NEP 2020, National Educational Technology Forum. Then Pragyata guidelines were also developed because during COVID-19, it was realized that we don't have a clear-cut models of digital education in a country, diverse country like India, where there are differentiated infrastructure that we have in the households and in the school system. So these guidelines present models for digital education, so that we learn from this, understand the models and impart and adopt the models accordingly. Then PM E-Vidya initiative was also launched during this time only, and we from 124 channel NCRT is switched to 12 DTH channel, one for each class. Now we have 13 to 14 DTH, 24/7 DTH channels. And after that, 200 more DTH channels were given away to the country, so that contents can be delivered in local language, local specific contents also delivered for through these channels. Then, as per NEP 2020, NCF for school education was also developed and given away to the country in 2022. NCF for a foundational stage, and NCF, a foundational stage was, given in 2022. Then NCF for school education in 2023. And draft NCF for teacher education is also prepared in 2024. And we are also in the process of developing an NCF for adult education as well for this time. So earlier there used to be only one curriculum framework, but keeping in view the need and importance, so this time, more than one curriculum frameworks are there, all addressing specific areas of education. Next slide, please. So these are key initiatives recommended by NEP 2020, inculcating and promoting digital innovation. So this NEP focus is only for digital innovations and digital education, although NEP 2020 talks about all the areas of education, since CIET is an technology department, and here this program is also geared towards technology. So we are only talking about digital innovation recommendations which were there in NEP 2020. There are two dedicated chapters in NEP 2020, chapter 23 and chapter 24, which talks about digital education, educational technology and digital education. So we can see the focus areas for digital education as reflected in NEP 2020. So you can see in these boxes, creating digital repository of content and its dissemination was one of the recommendation of NEP 2020. And now we have Diksha in place to address this. Then addressing the digital divide and equity through use of multiple mediums. So we need to also address the digital divide, and educational content should be delivered through different modes, like through radio, television, mobile apps, repositories of digital contents, etc., so that everyone can have access to digital content in the convenient way that they can access it. Then data-driven decision making for improving learning outcomes was also one of the recommendation of NEP 2020, so that we understand the educational scenario, which is evidence-based, data-based, and we can address the problems of education in a pointed manner. Then other areas are skill courses, multilingual learning, content for children with this special needs. Developing e-museums were also some of the areas of concerns which were reflected in NEP 2020 for digital education. Then ICT-enabled pedagogy and becoming digital creators. So this very program is focusing this recommendation. ICT-enabled pedagogy and becoming digital creators. So you all will become digital creator after having going through this training program. And you will also learn about ICT-enabled pedagogy, because we have also kept a session for you for ICT technology and pedagogy integration. Then this also talks about blended learning approaches, where offline, there is a blend of offline and online learning. Then laying down standards for content technology and pedagogy. If we talk about quality digital content, how a quality digital content should look like. So Pragyata guidelines, which I already talked about in the previous slide, is to lay down standard for quality digital content creation for school education. These are two guidelines which also talks about quality digital content development for children with special needs. We have cyber safety and security guidelines also. We have different guidelines and standards which just show to show the world that these are the standards for different types of initiatives that we are working towards as per NEP 2020. Next slide, please. So these are some of the technological trust areas for as per NEP 2020. So technology should be used for teaching, learning, and evaluation. How you will learn in this training program. Enhancing educational access. How to enhance the educational access. So Diksha is one important example for that. Our Swam MOOCs are also important example for that. All the DTH channels are also example for that, for enhancing educational access. Then removing language barriers. Diksha now has content in many languages. In the slides to come, you will know the exact number, because India is a multilingual society. We have more than 1,500 languages and dialects which are spoken in our country. No country is like that, have this unique characteristic. So this is one of the challenge also to us to remove these language barriers and provide digital content and textbooks in multiple Indian languages. Then supporting teacher preparation and professional development. Technology should also be leveraged for teacher preparation, like in pre-service teacher education and professional development of in-service teachers which are there. So you all are in-service teachers, so we are supporting your professional development by inviting you to this training program. And in teacher preparation also, now technology is used when they are being introduced to becoming a digital teachers by learning digital pedagogies. Then increasing access for Divyang students. We have largest population of Divyang people in our country because we have large population also. That is why Divyang population is also very large in this country. So we have to make education accessible to this Divyang population. And that is why on Diksha we have a separate vertical for children with special needs so that we can have a vertical tailored to their diverse needs and make education accessible to them. Then streamlining educational management and administration is also one of the area where technology can come as a support so that a lot of time which we spend in educational management and administration can be streamlined through technology. Next slide. These are digital education initiatives in a nutshell. So you can see in this infographic what all digital initiatives are there. So you can see here e-Jadui Pitara, e-content for Divyang children, and there is one app which is called Prashast, which is for early detection of disability. E-Parshala mobile app I have already spoken about. NDEAR RBSA, Rashtriya Vidya Samiksha Kendra for data-driven decision making. National curriculum frameworks there was a tech platform which was developed for developing national curriculum frameworks because this time development of national curriculum framework was from bottom up approach, not from the top down approach, because things are created at the top and then they are filtered to the bottom. So this time it was developed from a bottom up approach where all the states and union territories were there in this tech platform and they were giving their ideas and their specific needs to be integrated with national curriculum frameworks. Diksha is another initiative which we all know about, digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. It is a repository for digital content and also we are developing a robust LMS with this portal. Then Apna Chandrayaan is a portal where there is an opportunity for children to engage with this portal and know about the Chandrayaan which was launched by India. PM eVidya is for digital education through DTH, and there are 200 DTH channels that are given away to the country. Then Nishtha is for professional development of teachers, national initiative for teachers, school heads and teachers holistic advancement. Manodarpan and Sahyog are for counseling. Then virtual labs on Diksha are for practicing lab experiments in virtual environment. Continuous professional development of teachers through various modes is another ICT initiative. Then guideline and orientation on cyber safety and security is another initiative. So we have developed guidelines for cyber safety and security. When we talk about digital education, cyber safety and security is one of the area that need to be addressed with utmost care so that our children are not vulnerable in cyber world. Then MOOCs on SWAYAM is another initiative. So you can see here 14 initiatives which are for digital education. Next, please. So here we learn in a bit more detail about this digital initiative. Though this is about PM eVidya. PM eVidya is a umbrella project, all the digital education initiatives comes under this PM eVidya umbrella, and it talks about multi-mode access to education. So we need to leverage television, radio, Diksha portal, special content for Divyang, online courses, and virtual labs to make education easy, engaging, and accessible for children. So all these uh, modes need to be explored for imparting and accessing digital education. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this slide is on the launch of 200 PM eVidya DTH channel by Honorable Minister of Education Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji, which was launched on 9th March 2024. Next, please. So PM eVidya, there is a feedback mechanism for obtaining feedback on the programs which are disseminated through these DTH channel. So Manodarpan calls, IVRS calls, emails, and feedback forms. So these are the four mechanisms by which we are obtaining feedback for PM eVidya channels. Next, please. And Diksha is announced as the digital public good by the next slide. Honorable Union Finance Minister. So this is now a digital public good, and all the interested countries can understand and can obtain this technology from us. So, meeting held at World Bank, Washington, D.C. office on 14th October 2020, and many countries have expressed their interest in adopting Diksha. Next, please. So, these are some of the features of Diksha. So, open educational resources are one feature of Diksha. Curriculum aligned content, all the contents are curriculum aligned. Analytics are also there, which we can get from the dashboard. Multilingual support is also there, and collaborative platform. It is a collaborative platform where we can work in collaboration. It is also a federated platform where all the states and union territories are tenant on Diksha, and we can also have offline access to the resources which are there on Diksha, because all the resources are downloadable. Then these are the variety of contents which are there on Diksha: energized textbooks, infographics, guidelines and handbooks, interactive and immersive content, assessment questions, courses, video including Indian Sign Language videos, audios and talking books and audiobooks, then worksheets. So these are some of the variety of digital content that we have on Diksha, and you will learn a lot of variety to develop in this training program. Next, please. So these are the key statistics. Maybe I will not dwell more here on this statistics, because you can see from the dashboard of Diksha. But I want to reiterate here that Diksha provides opportunity to learn in 126 Indian languages and 7 foreign languages. So we have content in 126 languages on Diksha. Next, please. So this is about physical initiative. Physical is a combination of physical and digital. This time, now all the textbooks which are there on Diksha, we call them energized textbooks, because they are energized with a QR code. Each chapters contain a QR code, and if we scan the QR code, all the digital contents aligned with that chapter can be seen in the mobile app through which you are scanning the QR code. So it is a combination of physical and digital, because book is there in the physical format, and we are scanning the QR with a digital divide. So likewise, we have also designed the images of the textbooks on some of the textbooks in a way that if we scan them, the images can appear in 3D format. For example, if there is a diagram which shows the digestion process, so if we scan the image, we can see the 3D animation of digestion happening. Next, please. Content consumption across various verticals. So these are the 6 verticals which we have, which are aligned with specific purposes, specific objectives. Foundational literacy and numeracy vertical, it contains 2,446 resources and total plays we can also see here. Virtual labs, vocational education vertical, education for all vertical for adult education and lifelong learning, Jadui Pitara for foundational learners, and equitable and inclusive education learning for all vertical is for children with special needs. Next. So these are the some of the characteristics of virtual labs. On the Diksha, we have 383 virtual labs which are available for grade 6 to 12 for science and mathematics. So Diksha virtual lab experience is aligned with theory and procedures, animations and videos, simulations, viva voce for self-evaluation, and feedback from the learners from for continuous improvement on Diksha. So these features are there on each virtual labs which are there on Diksha. So in the screenshot, you can see a sample of virtual lab. Next. So this is experiential learning lab, which is there at established at CIET. So all the new technologies, this is the place which we have designed for the purpose of demonstrations of new technologies. So you can see here AR, VR content, AR, VR devices, and other digital education initiatives in this experiential learning lab. And children and people who visit CIT get an live experience on the equipments, the devices, the new technologies which are demonstrated here. Next. So this initiative is APAR, Automated Permanent Academic Account Registry. So it is introduced in alignment with NEP 2020 and NDEAR. So 12-digit Aadhaar linked lifelong learning ID is created for students. 25 crore provisional IDs created for school students. Launched on 13 February 2024, and then an 100 days campaign was also started to and completed to link APAR with Aadhaar. Next. So this initiative gives a unique identity to each students, so that we can track the dropouts, the student who drop out from the system, then management of learning outcomes, correlation of interventions with outcomes, data-driven decision making, delivering ease of education in entrance test, admission admission, etc. Then management of academic and non-academic records, so students can keep their academic records through their APAR IDs in their DigiLockers. Then targeted interventions can be ensured by having all students' data. Document management through DigiLocker, which I have already mentioned. Next, please. Next. So this is about Rashtriya Vidya Samiksha Kendra, which have been established in almost all the states and union territories. We have Rashtriya Vidya Samiksha Kendra at the national level, which is there at CIT and CRT, and other Vidya Samiksha Kendras are established at each state and union territories. The purpose is to have a data-driven decision making so that all the data related to performance grading is there so that targeted interventions can be made to enhance the quality of education. Next, please. So this is the implementation status of Rashtriya Vidya Samiksha Kendra. So we have 36 states and union territories and 4 central autonomous bodies. So out of 36, 33 Vidya Samiksha Kendra have been established, and out of 4 autonomous bodies, 3 autonomous bodies have already implemented it. So non-operational states are, 3 states are non-operational. Then and 1 central autonomous bodies is also non-operational. So we can see here Kerala, Bihar, and West Bengal doesn't have their Vidya Samiksha Kendra in place up till now, but it's in the process. Then in central autonomous bodies, NCRT, CBSE, and NIOS already have the Vidya Samiksha Kendra operationalized. In NCT, it is not operationalized. Next slide, please. Next, we can skip this slide. We can skip this as well. So this is the continuous professional development status. So platform that we use are Moodle, Sunbird, OpenEdX, Google Course Builder, etc. Nishtha, CPD courses, MOOCs for school education, online capacity building on ET and ICT and cyber safety are some of the prominent professional development programs that we are disseminating. Next, please. Next. So in the previous slide, there was coverage of Nishtha in multiple languages. Can we go on to previous slide? Previous slide. नहीं, इससे भी पहला वाला. Yeah. So up till now, next. Next, yeah, this. Stay on this. So it is for elementary. We have disseminated Nishtha for elementary, secondary. Nishtha FLN is ongoing and Nishtha ECC is ongoing. So we can see how many states and UTs are on board. And Nishtha elementary was disseminated in 11 languages. Secondary in 10 languages. Then again, Nishtha FLN in 11 languages, and Nishtha ECC is ongoing, which is in 2 languages. Next, please. Next. So this is about ePathshala mobile app and portal. Next, please. Next. This is the Jadui Pitara. And we have also developed eJadui Pitara, where the potential of AI is also utilized to get your stories of your choice. We can ask this Katha Sakhi, which is a story bot to narrate any story of your choice, which is there on the app. Then parent bot, where parents can ask questions from the AI. Then teacher bot, which is called Teacher Tara, where teachers can ask questions from the AI trained documents. Next. So eJadui Pitara is also launched in 14 languages, and the IVRS support is also there to address the queries of stakeholders. Next, please. So these are different mobile apps that we used: Diksha, ePathshala, PM, eVidya, AR app, NAS, ePathshala scanner app. ISSP Mauritius is for an app which we developed for Mauritius. NCF, Dishank, and Prashast. Next. Next. So for foundational learning, we have also launched primers in multiple Indian languages. Next slide, please. So we can see here how primers were launched in a phased manner. So the target language is 121 languages in which we need to launch these primers. In the first phase, 2 primers were launched. In the second, 52, then 25 in phase 3, 25 in phase 4, 13 in phase 5. Next, please. So these are standards and guidelines. I have already spoken about Pragyata guidelines for the content development. Next. Cyber safety and security guidelines, which lay standards for cyber safety and security. Next, please. So Bharat on the Moon portal, this is the launch is a screenshot of Bharat on the Moon portal. Next. So these are some of the awards that were received for the ICT initiatives taken up by CIT and CRT at the national level. So this is all for this particular presentation. So thank you very much. Thank you for the patient hearing.